Chapter 1 of the Life of Saint Monica. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Maria Silvagna. The Life of Saint Monica by Frances Alice Forbes. Chapter 1. How Saint Monica was brought up by Christian parents in the city of Tagaste. On the sunny northern coast of Africa, in the country which we now call Algeria, stood, in the early days of Christianity, a city called Tagaste. Not far distant lay the field of Zarna, where the glory of Hannibal had perished forever. But Rome had long since avenged the sufferings of her bitter struggle with Carthage. It was the ambition of Roman Africa, as the new colony had been called by its conquerors, to be, if possible, more Roman than Rome. Every town had its baths, its theater, its circus, its temples, its aqueducts. It was forbidden even to exiles as a place of refuge. Too much like home, said the authorities. It was about the middle of the 4th century. The church was coming forth from her long imprisonment into the light of day. The successor of Constantine, in name a Christian, sat on the imperial throne. The old struggle with paganism, which had lasted for 400 years, was nearly at an end, but new dangers assailed the Christian world. Men had found that it was easier to twist the truth than to deny it, and heresy and schism were abroad. In the atrium, or outer court of a villa on the outskirts of Tagaste, an old woman and a young girl sat together looking out into the dark shadows of the evening. For the hot African sun had sunk not long since behind the Numidian mountains, and the day had gone out like a lamp. "And the holy Bishop Cyprian?" asked the girl. "They sent him into exile," said the old woman, "for his father had been a senator, and his family was well known and powerful. At that time they dared not put him to death, though later he too shed his blood for Christ. It was God's will that he should remain for many years to strengthen his flock in the trial." "Did you ever see him, grandmother?" asked the girl. "No," said the old woman, "it was before my time, but my mother knew him well. It was when he was a boy in Carthage and still a pagan that the holy martyrs Perpetua and Felicitas suffered with their companions. It was not till years after that he became a Christian, but it may have been their death that sowed the first seed in his heart." "Tell me," said the girl softly. It was an oft-told tale of which she never tired. Her grandmother had lived through those dark days of persecution, and it was the delight of Monica's girlhood to hear her tell the stories of those who had borne witness to the faith in their own land of Africa. "Perpetua was not much older than you," said the old woman. "She was of noble race and born of a Christian mother, though her father was a pagan. She was married, and had a little infant of a few months old. When she was called before the tribunal of Hilarion the Roman governor, all were touched by her youth and beauty. 'Sacrifice to the gods,' they said, 'and you shall go free.' 'I am a Christian,' she answered, and nothing more would she say, press her as they might. Her old father hastened to her side with the baby and laid it in her arms. 'Will you leave your infant motherless?' he asked, 'and bring your old father's hairs in sorrow to the grave?' 'Have pity on the child!' cried the bystanders. 'Have pity on your father!' Perpetua clasped her baby to her breast, and her eyes filled with tears. They thought she had yielded, and brought her the incense. 'Just one little grain on the brazier,' they said, 'and you are free, for the child's sake and your old father's.' She pushed it from her. 'I am a Christian,' she said. 'God will keep my child.' She was condemned with her companions to be thrown to the wild beasts in the amphitheatre, and they were taken away and cast into a dark dungeon. Every day they were tempted with promises of freedom to renounce the truth. The little babe of Felicitas was born in the prison where they lay awaiting death. A Christian woman took the infant to bring it up in the faith. The young mother never saw the face of her child in this world. One word, one little motion of the hand, and they were free, restored again to their happy life of old, and the homes that were.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?